Hello, welcome back here today, and it's FMSL Season 1, Round 21, and it's the Saudi Arabian GP. Let me quickly close my door over and then we will get into play here, as I just need to quickly post the race stream into the Discord server. Then I can officially reveal your starting grid. You can see the top 10 at the moment. So yeah, so Porsche lines up pole position with Lando Norris in P2, Max Verstappen then third with Valtteri Bottas fourth, George Russell fifth, Charles Leclerc sixth, seventh is Carlos Sainz, 8th Franco Colapinto, 9th Andrea Kimi Antonelli with Sergio Perez down in 10th, Oscar Piastri sits 11th, Liam Lawson 12th, Alexander Albon in 13th with Yuki Tsunoda 14th, 15th goes to Daniel Ricciardo, Oliver Bearman lines up alongside him B16, Pierre Gasly takes 17th, 18th Lewis Hamilton, Hajar 19th, Alonso 20th. Anyways, let's get into this race.
Well, it's great to have you with us, folks, as we settle in for the weekend's Grand Prix action. Amidst the noise and fanfare of the occasion, a crucial moment now to concentrate.
Not where they'd want to be in P21. Honestly, they've just got to give it their best shot.
We're now moments away from this, the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. It's lights out, and away we go!
We are underway here. Let's quickly retire the car and get into action more than anything, as Sergio Perez has taken a grid drop here. Yes. No, not a grid drop. He's starting from the pits instead as Lando Norris. He's in second off the first few corners while Bottas is fighting George Russell round this Saudi Arabian circuit. No, not George Russell, Max Verstappen, that's my fault. But yeah, you get the gist. As to Porsche pulls away. Porsche has been really strong in street circuits this season. He was probably favourite to win in Miami. He won in Azerbaijan, won in Monaco, and he was on the podium in Las Vegas only last time out. And currently pole here and leading come the end of the first lap of the 50 here today, as it's fastest lap for Porsche, obviously, as he's the first car to finish it. Sergio Perez has got some catching up to do. He's going to try and work his way through the field to help Russell out as much as he can, but it really does look like it is V-Carb's championship in the bag at the moment. As Norris and Bottas starting to catch up. Verstappen's dropped off, allowing George Russell to start piling some pressure onto him now. But now Lando Norris DRS on his teammate. To the outside he looks, he'll go to the inside, but Valtteri Bottas to the outside of Norris. Who's going to come out ahead? It's going to be Norris. No, it's Bottas, who is now going to launch an attack on Terry Porsche for the lead here, which Bottas has succeeded in very nicely as Porsche leads Norris. Russell overtakes Verstappen, but Verstappen's going to try and fight back in that Sauber. It's not been best of seasons for Sauber in respect of who they've got at the helm, but it's enough to see them fight in a top 5 here today for now. And therefore, yeah, we just continue racing on. Russell has overtaken Lando Norris, who nicked the race win in Las Vegas by only 2/3 of a tenth. But yeah, So now George Russell, he can work up towards the lead as Lando Norris is about to drop to Max Verstappen in the Sauber, but the V-Carb stands strong. It's very odd in me saying V-Carb leading so many times this season. They have got the most race wins out of any constructor. If I'm right, they've also got the most pole positions. As there is Lando Norris dropping into P5. Carlos Sainz is going to have a say now and move himself up into 5th. Charles Leclerc is even going to put some salt into that wound for Norris, as Norris drops to 7th. He was fighting for the lead at the start of last lap. He's now fighting over 7th, make it 8th, as there's a yellow flag. It's Alex Albon who's had an off-in.
Yes, it is.
He's crashed
Alex
in turn 1.
Albon's involved in that. So this is what happened. Okay, so heading into turn 1 here.
He just goes the...
There's clear contact there, and they'll definitely be facing a few...
Disappointing for the Sauber, not Sauber, Williams really. His teammate. So much stronger this season. Carlos Sainz driving as if he wants a championship bid here, but it's a bit too late. But then, yeah, Antonelli to the outside. He's going to overtake Charles Leclerc on throttle. Lando Norris is down in P8 here. The V-Carb started on front row. However, it's down in P8 after 6 laps. Antonelli has just pushed himself up into the top 5. He's really helping his teammates bid for the win here, as George Russell trying to find a way past Sainz, who is just hanging very tightly into DRS range of Terry Porsche and Bottas up front. Porsche had a moment where he was lining up a move, wasn't able to get the overtake sent off, but he's going to go for it into the hairpin. Round the outside he goes. Valtteri Bottas going to get some DRS back here this lap. To the inside goes Bottas, and he's going to be back into the lead, but Porsche will fight back and he's still ahead come the end of lap 7 turn 2. So that's worked out very well now for Terry Porsche. As the V-Carb now leads once again. Lando Norris starting to do a recovery drive. He's up to P7 after overtaking Charles Leclerc on the recent laps. As it's now to the inside for Norris. He's overtaken Max Verstappen. He can now hunt down the cars in top 5. Currently first and fifth, well, second and 5th are 2 Haas's, as Norris continues to fight Verstappen there over track position. You can see Bottas to the inside of Terry Porsche, as the Haas will regain the lead here under the lights in Jeddah. We are really getting a fight for the win against, I'll be honest, 2 cars not remotely in the Drivers' Championship for the win. However, one of them's in Constructors, and that is Terry Porsche. Who now almost lines up a really decent move there on Bottas, but not able to. As Porsche up into the lead. But Bottas, he's going to fight back to the inside. Goes the Haas wasn't able to get the move done, as there was a little switcheroo between Sainz, Russell and Antonelli here. Sorry for numerous creaks on my chair, it's a really shit one. But yeah, Russell had a look to the inside there on Andrea Kimi Antonelli. Overtaking is possible, as seen numerous times by the top 2, but it's really difficult to keep a place. As Porsche now DRS on, no, not even DRS on Bottas. Bottas got it on Porsche. As now they can fight into turn 1. Porsche is going to have DRS. He's going to be ahead before braking. Makes his life 10 times easier. and therefore gets back on the move. Yeah. Porsche now dropping the ball. However, it's a Haas 2-3, but Antonelli has George Russell for company. Can he fend off? He can for now, but they're going to get more DRS on him. As Carlos Sainz goes to the inside of Russell, Russell goes to the outside of Antonelli and gets the move done. Russell back into P3, but Antonelli, he's going to fight back with some DRS assistance into turn 1. Lando Norris almost went hot on the brakes and into the house of Antonelli. But anyways, they continue on for a while longer as there is a safety car out now. It's Daniel Ricciardo and Pierre Gasly by the looks of it. But yeah, let's have a look at this incident. So Daniel Ricciardo spins, he just then clips Pierre Gasly, which is a really clumsy crash for Gasly, because yeah, he just became a passenger to Daniel Ricciardo spinning off in this race. But will it mean anyone to pit? I think Valtteri Bottas and Liam Lawson, maybe even Isaac Hadjar, may consider it. Not too sure about the others though, but they could go to the hards and try and drag it to the end. It is a possibility, but let's see. Théo Pourchaire into the pits from the lead. Looks like everyone is in. Everyone's going to be coming in. That's really going to cause some pit lane havoc here, as cars double stacking left, right, front, centre. But Valtteri Bottas comes out leading, then Russell, Sainz, Piastri, Porsche, Verstappen, Leclerc, Norris, Tsunoda, Lawson, Hamilton, Behrman, Antonelli, Colapinto, Alonso, Perez, Hadjar, then Albon. Antonelli really been screwed over by it. He was just behind his teammate, 2 places down in 4th. And he's back in this race in P13. But he is one of the 4 who's on a set of hards, who basically say they can go to the end. And that includes Leclerc, Hamilton, Antonelli and Perez. The others on the medium compounds, meaning they will have to go a fair while longer than the rest of the field. But yeah, championship fight between Russell and Norris. Norris has bagged some crucial points over the last few races over George Russell. Russell has his opportunity to claw some back. So yeah, if he can take a win here, George, could mean a lot for his championship. Yeah, it's very late and likelihood of him winning is quite little now. But it's not ruled out as of yet. But yeah. Now, safety car still out. As you can see, numerous cars weaving, trying to get temps into their tyres. But it's a fairly interesting range of strategies in this race. Lando Norris and Porsche both on set of softs, alongside Alex Albon. Everyone else on mediums or hards, with only 4 cars on hards, meaning they could go to the end if they wish, but looks like the mediums is your optimal strategy. Make it another stop to the end, probably medium 20, then medium 20 to take you there. But yeah, it does really look like safety car could be out for a while, as this is about a third lap with it. As race control has decided, the safety car will be ending. It's in this lap. Valtteri Bottas will lead it over George Russell, then Carlos Sainz, with Oscar Piastri 4th, Porsche 5th, Verstappen 6th, Leclerc 7th, Norris 8th, Tsunoda 9th, and Liam Lawson in P10. However, we will wait and see to determine how this pecking order will unravel. As you can see, Sergio Perez right at the back, George Russell right at the front, as Bottas has decided it is time to go. How will he fend off? He doesn't have to make a defensive manoeuvre into turn 1 on Russell. That makes his life really easy. But there's Verstappen swapping places with Charles Leclerc now, as the Sauber on the mediums really not looking too lively off this start procedure. As yeah, you do see quite a few overtaking attempts on a restart like this, such as Liam Lawson, who's all over the back end, as Verstappen has crashed and the VSC is out. You could see the Sauber going round, but we will have a proper look of it now. He is right behind Charles Leclerc, and what happens, he just goes deep, hits the wall, and that's him, out of this race for Sauber, which is unfortunate to say the least. But it's VSC now. But yeah, that has helped probably the soft runners. Let them go a bit longer on them, and the hard runners, because it makes a one stop more achievable for them. As you can see, the current deltas up and down the field. Who do we ride on board with for the restart? I think it has to be Lando Norris and Charles Leclerc. Right. Yeah. But then would you want to ride on board with George Russell, who could make an overtaking attempt into the first corner? Or, yeah, wherever they restart, really. Who knows? Currently VSC has no current intent, but it has now been told racing is back, DRS is enabled. Is George Russell going to get the move done on George Russell yet? He's getting close, but not close enough for this restart. He's gonna have to wait. He's got DRS now, to the inside, nope, to the outside, back to the inside, but just not quick enough in a straight line to get the move done. As Lando Norris has a moment fighting Charles Leclerc. He's got DRS on the Red Bull, to the inside he goes, but Leclerc's gonna fight around the outside of turn 1, gets the inside line for turn 2, just defends the place beautifully. As now, Valtteri Bottas still has quite a bit of defensive work to do, as he has got George Russell on his back, Carlos Sainz also right there, but Bottas currently backing up the field into one another again. as Russell round the outside and into the lead goes the championship contender. I was going to say leader, but the leader's down in 7th as Porsche, who's down in 4th, got fastest lap, but then that went to Oliver Behrman, who's down in P10. The Aston Martin really driving for his career now, as its points in the championship at risk. But irrespective of that, are we going to see another move? We've got a yellow flag, however, for a brief moment. It was Alex Albon locking up. George Russell defends to the inside. Bottas round the outside into the lead. Goes Valtteri Bottas again, but now you see Porsche and Russell with DRS. They're both going to go to the inside. Porsche around the outside of Russell. They're going to go free of press. Russell gets squeezed and he's down to P4 as he's got Oscar Piastri for some company. The race winner out in Las Vegas could have been Piastri, but then mechanical faults got in the way. Today he's fighting again for the win. It's becoming more crucial race after race because he's missing out on opportunities. He could go winless this season for Red Bull, when Red Bull's had about 4 or 5 wins so far. Could look quite poor on him. As anyways, Liam Lawson, DRS on Charles Leclerc. To the inside goes the McLaren. McLaren missed out on points last time out, pitted 5 laps from the end when they were smooth sailing to the line. That therefore forfeited them quite good points, as Yuki Tsunoda mechanical fault. Antonelli getting moved on Lando Norris, as there is a yellow flag. It's Lewis Hamilton who's had a lock up in turn 12. Let's have a look.
Here we are then, reaching turn 13. Struggling with the car. By that point,
Keeps out of the wall. That's a good start for the Sauber, but you can really tell his form has deteriorated here today. Probably his worst run of form in his whole career. But who's only getting started is Lawson, Antonelli and Behrman. They are really starting to put the effort in. As you can see, it's Porsche versus Bottas and Sainz for the lead now. Piastri and Russell has somewhat chimed out of this fight, while Lando Norris really has just not gelled with this street circuit. He's working his way backwards more than anything. He started second here to his teammate who's currently leading, and he's down in P8 after the first 2/5 of the race. We are, however, only 3 laps away from the halfway mark in Saudi Arabia. If my voice does sound raspy, it is because I am dehydrated, but I'm powering through for you lot. As Valtteri Bottas, he's in P2. Alonso fastest lap. The Aston Martins really do seem to have pace here, but is it going to be enough to get double points maybe at Saudi Arabia, just like they've done out in Las Vegas? But yeah, this is really being a straining championship for the drivers. You've just hit a fairly hard run of races. You've just had Las Vegas, you've now got Jeddah, and then you've got 3 other high humidity circuits to end the season. Bottas into the lead. The Haas really looking decent out there, as they have been for a long while. But Bottas are looking for his 2nd win of the season. He won out in Miami after crashes galore, put quite a few question marks over the race winner with a 3-lap race restart. But currently Bottas just has to keep his composure from Porsche and Sainz, but Sainz, 2nd race in a row now, the Williams is competing for a win. Just showing how Williams are putting in a bid to maybe catch Aston Martin in the championship. If so, it's going to be a big downfall for them, as Sainz double overtake and the Williams now leads. Here's a look at their tyre wear. I'll be honest, those on softs would love a crash now, because if they get one onto the hards and they're going to the end, free pit stop as well. Those on mediums, however, probably looking at another 8 laps or so. Then maybe chuck on another set of mediums to go to the end, as there's Bottas having a peek to the inside on Sainz, but was unable to overtake the Williams here. But does so now. We are going to drop down to Piastri and Russell fighting over P4 here. Russell, DRS glides by, and now Liam Lawson, DRS on Charles Leclerc to the inside. The McLaren goes up into 6th. The McLaren really finding some pace out of nowhere all of a sudden. I think it's really been illuminated by the street race in Las Vegas, as they were quite racy there. Liam Lawson did get fastest a lap, but only came P11 due to strategy. And here, currently 6th, just like he was for vast majority of that race in Las Vegas. As will there be another move? Liam Lawson behind Charles Leclerc now. DRS, he's not close enough to go for a move, however, but he's going to try and fight it out through to turn 3. To the inside he goes, and he's going to get past Charles Leclerc in a very ballsy move. Alex Albon in the pits as Tsunoda hit with a mechanical fault, which really has shown and quite well described how off the pace Mercedes have been this season. They've gone from winning numerous titles to being towards the back with McLaren, but it now does look like they are the weakest car here. But yeah, Liam Lawson still trying to fight Leclerc over P6. While Lando Norris is behind Sergio Perez now. Sergio Perez picking up scraps from Lando Norris, who just seems to have zero pace in this race now, as he is working his way down the pecking order, while Perez is working his way up the pecking order, as it just shows very well how contrasting the performance of their cars at least are here. V-carb so much quicker in quali, but nowhere to be seen in race as such. As into the pits goes Antonelli, Lando Norris and Oliver Behrman. Behrman taking off softs, going to the hards for the final 21 laps. Lando Norris should be on a set of mediums if I'm right, but he's on a set of softs. Antonelli on a set of mediums, however, as he's racing Isaac Hadjar for P11 here. Hadjar, he hasn't finished any higher than 15th. He almost got that in Las Vegas where he came P16. But now Antonelli, can he get past the Alpine? Yes he can. Antonelli up into P11 as he starts to try and undercut the field. Liam Lawson now limping down the pits. George Russell mechanical fault, however, as Lawson comes out roughly with Norris just ahead of Lewis Hamilton to be exact, and just nicely tucked in behind Hadjar, which does show how Antonelli could be on strategy that works in this race, as Liam Lawson is going to be getting ready to overtake the Alpine, as the 3 leaders, Sainz, Bottas and Pourchaire, all now pit. Where will they come out? Colapinto joins them in pit lane. Sainz leaves the pits now as Antonelli sets fastest lap. Antonelli, he is right behind Valtteri Bottas here, which shows how powerful the undercut here is, because Antonelli now in the fight with Sainz, Porsche, Bottas for the lead, and Liam Lawson's just in the background, which is really impressive for the Haas and McLaren. They have played strategy to perfection and now bringing themselves into the race here, as Porsche has overtaken Carlos Sainz, Oscar Piastri into the pits, however, with Fernando Alonso also following him behind. But Piastri held up by Alonso, as you can see leaders now roaring by, as Piastri has undercut Lando Norris. Yellow flags out on track, I cannot tell where for.
There's been a crash.
However, it's Yuki Tsunoda. Just spun it, hit the wall. Unfortunate, but Yuki now pits in this race. But yeah, it's been a fairly, how do I phrase it, hectic to say the least, as currently those who have pitted early in the top 8 could be chasing after the likes of Perez, Russell and Leclerc. Probably will be ahead, as Russell has now pitted. Will he come out ahead of Piastri and Norris, or behind him? Now is your main question. Is Sainz fastest lap? Antonelli overtaking Bottas here. George Russell out behind Lando Norris, his title rival. Massive undercut here. As you can see, so many cars on the soft compounder tyre, and that's just letting them kind of control the race a bit more. But George Russell, he was fighting just outside the podium for 4th. Norris was in about 9th, 10th. And now Norris has undercut himself to be ahead of George Russell, as Yuki Tsunoda has retired from the session. That is a double DNF here for the Mercedes in Saudi Arabia. As now Charles Leclerc is the only car who has not pitted again in this race, in a sense, as it looks like he will probably pit around 10 to 15 laps to go to the softs and go flying at the end. But what is very interesting to point out is when Leclerc pits, it's going to be a fight over 2 rookie seasons to determine the podium. It's currently Antonelli versus Liam Lawson for P3 in provision, as there is a VSC. I believe that is Oliver Bearman, as it's a full course safety car now. For a crash out on track, it's Oliver Bearman who is out of the race. It's Sergio Perez versus Bearman. So Bearman crashes, then Perez gets caught up as safety car now comes out in this race, as it's a red flag. How perfect is that for Charles Leclerc? He doesn't have to pit, and he's just been given a free pit stop now. Charles Leclerc, absolute amazing placement for Red Bull.
We're ready to get this race underway again.
As we are getting ready to restart this race, it's 5 red lights, and away we go here. Once again in Jeddah, it's Charles Leclerc on the front row against Porsche and Sainz. Sainz muscles his way past Porsche, as Oliver Bearman gets a 5-second penalty for causing a collision. However, he is out of this race. For Isaac Hadjar, however, as long as he doesn't finish the last of the finishers, he will have his highest race finish of his career in this race, which just shows how difficult his season has been. How last time he finished in top 15, it was China round 3 when we saw about 4 DNFs, and now it's his chance to do so here today, as DRS is now enabled. Charles Leclerc, great opportunity to try and pull out a gap as Lando Norris has found some form, whereas Russell, he's dropping off. It is quite safe to assume Lando Norris has won this title for VCARB, and that the constructors are most likely going to VCARB as well. Ferrari have been competitive, but they've just lost their touch at the moment. As Sainz putting himself within the DRS range of Charles Leclerc. Sainz to the inside here for the final corner. He's going to take the lead of the race. Williams leads. It hasn't been best of season so far for Williams, but this could be their highlight. However, it really does show how much more dominant Carlos Sainz is in that car based off how Albon, however, is the last of the current drivers left in this race, whereas Carlos Sainz, his teammate, fighting for the win against Charles Leclerc, Théo Pourchaire, so on and so forth. As there's Sainz trying to fight back against Charles Leclerc. To the inside he goes, and surely that is the move complete. Advantage for Carlos Sainz now. However, to the inside goes Charles Leclerc. Is the Red Bull going to be able to do it? No. But you probably saw there Antonelli overtaking Liam Lawson. Two youngsters in their debut seasons fighting for a great result as well. And it is P4, P5 for Antonelli and Lawson. If Lawson can get into P4, I believe they have a very good chance of overtaking Mercedes this race weekend. So Liam Lawson kind of needs that result, as Antonelli has put himself into the fight for the lead here. As Antonelli tries going to the inside of Théo Pourchaire, Liam Lawson has started to drop off in his own world, as he's been overtaken by Oscar Piastri, as Carlos Sainz regains the lead in this race. As is it time to pull away?
There's a yellow flag now.
As there was a yellow flag for crash involving multiple cars. So let's have a look. It's Franco Colapinto and Alex Albon. Alex Albon just making contact there with the inside wall and then hitting Colapinto. As Isaac Hadjar, you probably haven't noticed, he's in P12. I've just seen that. Meaning, if he gets 2 more places, it will be his first set of points in his career. And I think that could be a saving grace in this save, because Alpine already confirming they are not keeping him for next season. As now Charles Leclerc, yeah, I don't know what to say for Hadjar. He is driving for his career now, as he is scrapping over P12. I know this is absurd, but let's have a look. Hadjar right behind Sergio Perez Hamilton in the points for Sauber, as he has just overtaken George Russell here. Ferrari really off the pace, as Hadjar DRS on Sergio Perez to the inside. Amazing move for Isaac Hadjar, as it's the Alpine into P11 now. Can he work his way up to George Russell, however? If so, I'm pretty sure there could be 1 or 2 TPs looking at him for next season, because this is honestly a career defining drive. It's been messy, but when time is right he will shine through, and the time is now right. But is he going to be quicker than the Ferrari, who currently is struggling of mechanical problems with the car? Surely he's going to catch him and put a challenge up for an overtake. As Perez to the inside, trying to do what he done last lap on him, as Alonso's got the better of Perez here. But Perez DRS and ahead of Hadjar. While they fight, we will go back to the lead battle, as Pourchaire has taken the lead here in Jeddah with about 7 laps left of this race. As this has really become a 3-horse race now, with the others just in the background fighting over their own personal positions. As Sainz could regain the lead here. The Williams unable to do so. To the outside of Terry Pourchaire, no. Instead he waits behind. And now gets some DRS here. Down into turn 1 they go. To the inside goes Carlos Sainz. And he is ahead before turn 2. He squeezes him out and gets the race done. Oscar Piastri trying to put some pressure onto Andrea Kimi Antonelli, who's right behind Charles Leclerc, and gunning for a podium now in that ass, as Lando Norris has moved himself up into P6 here. As will Antonelli move on to the podium to the inside. Amazing, absolute amazing move for Andrea Kimi Antonelli on Charles Leclerc, but Leclerc's going to fight back to the inside there. Who's going to get DRS? I think it will be Leclerc. It will be Leclerc. As Norris DRS on Antonelli. Up into P3 goes Lando Norris. Charles Leclerc has really dropped out of this race. So it's just Sainz versus Pourchaire up front. While it all unravels behind him, with Liam Lawson at the back of it in P8. As Hajar and Perez continuing to fight a bit. Franco Colapinto tuning in. But Hajar really not showing pace to catch George Russell here. He may need a DNF between now and the end. As Carlos Sainz, however, he's going to have DRS on Terry Pourchaire. Lando Norris is quite quickly approaching them. The gap is now 2 seconds between Pourchaire and Sainz and Lando Norris. If I'm right, if Lando Norris wins today, he will be able to win it out in Bahrain next time out. So, Lando Norris may need to get a little wiggle on. As so Pourchaire still fighting Carlos Sainz. Alex Albon, mechanical fault here. As to the inside goes Sainz, he's going to squeeze himself past Pourchaire. Lando Norris not really catching anymore. It was only a 10th on that previous lap. As Pourchaire to the inside, 3 laps to go. Who is going to win? The Frenchman, who's made his debut this season and won about 3 times this season. Or the Williams, hunting for his first win of the season, and Williams' first win since, if I'm right, 2012 Barcelona, where Pastor Maldonado went on to win. As Carlos Sainz to the inside and up into first, as that is really going to help Sainz's bid here. Will Sainz be the first Williams race winner since 2012, or is Pourchaire going to get another win for VCARB, as they hope to put the constructors to bed now? As Hajar really has fallen out of this race. He's down in 14th now. But irrespective of Hajar's performance, it's currently going to be his best of his career, as long as he doesn't lose 8 seconds in final lap. But Terry Pourchaire could win at the 3rd different street race this season, really showing how he is an expert in that field. As it's final lap now, Terry Pourchaire leads onto it, but will Carlos Sainz ruin the day for the VCARB constructors, as Liam Lawson fighting Valtteri Bottas there. Bottas covers him off quite nicely. As Sainz, he needs to attack. He is about 6/10 off. He's got 2 DRS zones to properly try and get the overtake. If he can get it in the final corner, he surely wins it. Is he going to be close enough? He's right behind Terry Pourchaire. He's going to get DRS now in this final run up to the line. To the inside goes Carlos Sainz. Is he going to lead? Pourchaire versus Sainz. They're going to squeeze each other up to the wall. Sainz will get DRS, however, to the line, and Carlos Sainz wins in Saudi Arabia. Oh my god,
Sainz
what a
crosses the line
finish.
first.
Teo Pourchaire
He's taken the
second,
win.
Lando Norris third, Piastri fourth, Antonelli fifth, Leclerc sixth. Good result for Lawson in seventh, Bottas eighth, Hamilton ninth. Fernando Alonso beats George Russell to the line in 10th. Pointless for George Russell. It's safe to assume the title is over, as Hadjar comes home P14 for his best result of the season.
Sometimes I think
boy,
you just have to accept
oh
that
boy.
it's not going to be your...
Carlos Sainz is a race winner for Williams. Fastest lap as well for that Williams man. Absolute amazing drive. Followed by Teo Pourchaire second. For the second race in a row. Less than a tenth. It was a drag race to the line in Vegas between Norris and Russell. It's a drag race here between Pourchaire and Sainz. And this time Sainz wins it. Lando Norris in P3. Oscar Piastri takes home 4th with Antonelli 5th. Charles Leclerc 6th. Lawson 7th. Valtteri Bottas in 8th. Lewis Hamilton 9th. And Fernando Alonso final points playing position in 10th, as Russell and Perez both miss out in 11th and 12th. Colapinto 13th, Hadjar 14th, Albon 15th, then Behrman, Tsunoda, Verstappen, Ricciardo and Gasly all failed to finish here today, and Carlos Sainz picked up your fastest lap award. For those who enjoyed, goodbye for now, but you have one more stream today, and it will be the next race in this championship, hopefully. If not, then it's going to be a goodbye to F1 24, as I will be getting a new game on Friday. See you for now, goodbye.